From art exhibits to Circus Harmony. Having fun in St. Louis. That's next on City Corner. Hi, I'm Steve Potter. Welcome to City Corner. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to talk to Jessica Hentoff from Circus Harmony, catch up with her, see what they've been doing and what they have planned in the future. But right now, I'd like to welcome back Michelle Mike Ochonicky, who is the arts editor for Healthy Planet magazine. She also has a column, Artful Living. And Michelle joins us a couple times every year to kind of catch us up on exciting things going on. How have you been?
I'm fine, Steve. How have you been?
Is that a serious question?
No, we're all terrible, aren't we? But we're getting better, aren't we?
Last year and a half has been a little stressful for everybody. How's that affected the magazine?
Well, we went to an strictly online version during the height of the pandemic, and we're going to stay that way.
I think you were a guest on the show like in early March, right before, you were one of my last guests, I think.
I think so, yeah. So I think we'll stay online. Lots of people like it because they can read it, you can access it from anywhere, so that helps.
Right. But at least events are picking back up.
They are, and still, even during COVID though, we had events. We were just distanced or we were strict, online events. And thank goodness to all the arts organizations that scrambled to create online events because it got us through, huh?
Right. So, all right. Well, you have picked out, like you always do, things that are coming up that you think would be of interest to us.
I did. And
the first is photographer Jason Gray.
He's got an exhibition coming up soon, and it opens August 30th. It's going to run through September 30th, and photography exhibition that will be at the gallery at St. Louis Community College on the Forest Park campus. It's in the library building. It's called Mound City Chronicles, and his work deals with removing and replacing things. What is crumbling, what is preserved, why is it crumbling, why is it preserved? He's worked over a decade on that concept. And I thought with COVID, we're ready to move on. So the exhibitions this month seem like they're all focused on looking backwards. So let's look back through history, see how people dealt with things, how things changed, and then we can move on. And so that's part of his exhibition. Which
is very timely these days.
It truly, truly is.
Yes, he was a guest on City Corner just recently, and he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Also, the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum.
Yes, they are at Grand and Olive, just a little bit east of Grand. And there's an exhibition coming up there that will run in August and September called Pictorialism and Photogravure. Photogravure was a type of photography that was done at the turn of the century.
What's that word again?
Photogravure. I put a little French spin on it. Anyway, and it was published in a journal called Camera Work, and these are works by 20 classic artists, photographers, from 1905 to 1913. One in particular is Alfred Stiglitz. The name, I'm sure, sounds familiar to everyone. He started a group of artists in 1902 that really pushed photography beyond what it had been before. One of his images called The Steerage is a powerful, just haunting image.
Is that this?
It is, there we can see it. I'm just really moved by it. 1907, what people endured and what they went through to travel to a new country. There's also works there by Edward Steichen, and he has one image in it, but as I said, there's about 20 different artists that'll be covered there. And I can't help but think as I looked at this, it's all portraits and landscapes. How will we be recorded in history, do you think? What images from now are gonna be around in 100 years and people go, look at that, look at how people lived in 2000.
Anything over the last year and a half, I'm sure will be interesting to see. Now, who's this?
This one, I just love this one. It's called Vitality, Yvette Guibert. And she was a singer and an actress in France in 1913.
She has a lot of personality.
She's got it going, doesn't she?
Yeah,
that's one of Steichen's photographs.
And this is all the Photography Hall of Fame and Museum?
Yes, it is. This is Ordinary Lives. We're looking at this image from
this is
Art
a separate
St. Louis.
exhibit. Tell me about Art St. Louis.
Art
What's
St.
happening?
Louis has a new exhibition coming up, and they're representing 42 different artists in this exhibition. It was juried multimedia, so you're going to see paintings, drawings, sculptures, just all kinds of things. And they asked artists to approach the ordinary in extraordinary ways. So what is it that's ordinary in your life that has taken on a very extraordinary aspect? I thought it was interesting, two of the works, one we're going to see is Wash Day. It's a lino cut by Debbie Gilley of Mountain Grove, Missouri. And the other one that we're going to see is Dormitorio, and that's by Soledad van Emden. They deal with laundry and, the waving and just, piles of dirty laundry. And
Unfortunately, I can relate to that.
can't we? When I saw these images, it's what we've been dealing with these past months, right? And it's like, yeah, it's all stacked there in the laundry basket. But look at how special it is. Look at how the light travels across it. And what does that mean to you? That's home. So, it's viewing it in artists' inner private lives.
And what's this?
This is Art Confidence, Seek But You May Not Find by Kaylin Hill. And it's one of 3 exhibitions that are going on simultaneously at the Sheldon Art Galleries. We all know about the Sheldon on Washington for performances.
Oh, yeah.
But they have some fabulous art galleries as well. So Kaylin likes to look at personal adornment and how it defines us, how it tells the world who we are, how it expresses the individual. So she likes to look at particularly traditional African dress and how that informs contemporary dress and adornment. So it's an interesting exhibition. Most of her works are in acrylic.
She has an interesting style, technique.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And simultaneously at the Sheldon are 2 exhibitions by the same artist. These are by Mark Appling Fisher, and this one that we're
looks like
looking
an
at
old
here,
photograph, right?
it is. It's called, his exhibition is Through a Glass Darkly, and he took photographs from the 19th century that were done on glass plates, and then superimposed his own work into them. His focus in this exhibition primarily is climate and climate change. So how has climate change impacted our lives, and how have our lives impacted climate change? Both ways.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting and thought-provoking exhibition.
Can you explain what he did there?
Well, he started with a glass plate, as I said. So the mule and the old school, I think it's a schoolhouse, were on a glass plate, old photogravure, old photograph. And then he took his own image and superimposed the broken glass over it. And that's an image of an explosion, of a contemporary explosion over what was. And you'll notice how it really focused in on the very center where the people were.
Yeah, a neat look to it.
Yeah, it requires a lot of study.
This is either scary or funny, I can't decide.
I can't tell either. This is called Top Shelf Eyes, and this is another exhibition at the Sheldon by Mark Appling Fisher. And all of these photographs are of carnival chalk figurines. Remember the carnivals when you play a game and the lower shelf was one level and the second shelf, and you tried to get the prizes on the top shelf? Well, they're all chalk figures from the late 19th, early 20th century. So that's the kind of characters we're going to see. Is that something we really want to strive for? I don't know.
I don't want to dream about that.
No. But what was entertainment now? Compared to now, what was entertainment then? What did people enjoy? Would you really try to get that? Here we're looking at an upcoming exhibition called Stotinama, and it's by Ada Sahovic. It will be at Lamar Sculpture Park. And this will open September 25th through December 19th. It's an installation. She's done these around the world. She was a survivor from Bosnia, and this represents the 1995 Srebrenica genocide, where 8,372 people died. And coffee is very important in Bosnian culture, so each of these cups represents one of those people. The amount of coffee that is in the cup represents the person's age. And so it's a very reminding us of what has passed and what's been over.
Well, I do understand the importance of coffee.
I do too. I do too, especially in the morning.
So I guess people can find out more about these things in Healthy Planet magazine in the Artful Living column for one place, right?
Absolutely, every month.
And I know you got a little place of your own,
I do. I own Stone Hollow Studio.
What you doing new there?
Well, I've worked a lot during the COVID, and I have a show at ASL Pewter in St. Genevieve the 17th and 18th of July, and then after that I'll be back here in St. Louis at the Botanical Garden the first weekend in October at the Best of Missouri Market, which is going to happen this year. It was canceled last year.
What are you showing? Anything in particular?
My scrimshaw engraved pieces, and lots of mirrors and frames and lots of new things.
Well, we look forward to that.
Thanks, Steve.
Mike, thanks so much for being here, and be sure and check out Healthy Planet magazine. Of course, you have to get it online, as we said, and check out the Artful Living column, because you can find out something all the time. It's thehealthyplanet.com, and it comes out every month.
Every month at thehealthyplanet.com.
All right. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
And we'll see you down the road. When we come back, we're going to see what's happening with Circus Harmony. That's next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. And we're continuing our show today about sort of fun and exciting things to do this summer. And one thing I always enjoyed every summer was seeing Circus Harmony perform here, there, or everywhere. Jessica Hentoff is the Artistic Executive Director, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me back.
I've missed you. This is the same discussion I have with everybody over the last year and a half. I haven't seen you or Circus Harmony.
But we kept going. We've been doing a lot online. Instantly, we started doing quarantine training classes.
A year and a half ago?
Yep. Like the next week, we were online doing classes, and we've done some incredible shows online, which will become part of the repertoire going forward, even when we do live shows.
How did you snap back so fast? It took most organizations a little time to figure it out.
Because we're in the circus, and when we say circus teaches the art of life, all the life skills we teach, focus, persistence, resilience, thinking on and off your feet, being strong, flexible, supporting each other, all of those were things that were needed during the pandemic.
For those watching now that aren't familiar with Circus Harmony, just give a brief background. You founded it, and it involves young people.
Circus Harmony is first and foremost a social circus school. So social circus means we use the teaching and performing of circus arts to motivate social change. We also offer recreational programming and have classes for ages 3 and up. They were online. They're back at City Museum, which is our home ring. And we've become a pre-professional circus school as well. And a number of our students are now, when they can be, performing around the world. But they will be going back to Cirque du Soleil. And we have one who's been performing in Australia with a circus this whole time.
It's always exciting. I always enjoy seeing them perform. Mike Ochonicky of Healthy Planet magazine was just on, and she was mentioning there was something all about coffee, an exhibition about coffee, and somehow you related to that.
Yes, because Circus Harmony has our very own Defy gravity coffee, and it's fabulous, fresh roasted coffee, whole bean, caffeinated because it's coffee. And when you buy the coffee, it gives you a lift and helps a child soar, all in one cup, because it supports our Flying Children Scholarship Fund, and people can buy it online at circusharmony.org or come pick it up from us at City Museum.
I'm going to try. How long have you been doing that?
We've been doing that over 2 years now. It's really good coffee because I take my coffee very seriously.
I do too, very seriously. Hey, I've got a whole bunch of things I want to ask you about because we need to catch up on stuff. And we were just talking about things that have changed the last year and a half. I guess you kind of just referred to this first one. You've been doing online classes. So where exactly do the classes and the camps stand right now?
So right now, the only class that remained online by special request was a conditioning class, and all our other classes are at City Museum. We have classes and camps, as I mentioned, for ages 3 through adult, all levels, beginner to advanced, and we will have our fall schedule should be out momentarily if it's not already online.
Now it's online, so you have to sign up for it? And
You register online for the classes, and then you come to City Museum to do them, and we have our own separate entrance, which you get the secret directions how to get to the circus when you register for class.
And do kids have to have any kind of background before they start interacting with you guys?
We take, like I said, all levels, beginner to advanced, and adults too. If you've always wanted to juggle or ride a unicycle, we have juggling and unicycling clubs that whole families take together. Adults come on their own, and classes in everything from physical comedy to trapeze.
Well, what about shows like at the Stifle Theater or Union Station or other places you used to be? Where does that stand out?
So we used to do all our shows in the ring at City Museum. Currently we're not, because we can't social distance in our little ring, but people are booking us outside. So we just did a 1-hour show at the Stifle Theater for the Cardinals Care for their Redbird rookies, and that was amazing. We did a corporate event at Union Station. We've done a wedding. We'll be in Maplewood. They're doing a library event at the end of July, and we just did Let Them Eat Art. So we're everywhere and anywhere.
So you mean somebody could just like hire you for an event?
You could hire us for anything from a backyard circus soiree to
I think a wedding reception would be good.
So what we did at the wedding reception was great. Not only did we do a show, but after the show we took all the kids and we did a circus class for them and then gave them a bag of their own props so that they could keep practicing, and it kept the kids occupied during the wedding.
I love this, the title of this thing that you're doing, because it really does kind of sum up our last year and a half, balancing act. And talk about walking a tightrope. We've all done that this last year, haven't we?
Very much so. And the Balancing Act was a full-length show. It was just part of Cinema St. Louis's St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase. It is on our YouTube channel, and it gave the pandemic perspective of our current students, some of our alumni, parents, coaches. The young people are the ones who are most impacted by the pandemic, and it was what they thought of going through the pandemic. It was about the Black Lives Matter movement, the presidential election, and the analogy of walking the pandemic tightrope. We keep walking this tightrope and they keep extending where the platform is. You think you get to the end and it keeps going further and further. When you are learning to walk a tightrope, if you start to lose your balance, you don't stay in one place and struggle to get your balance back, you take the next step forward. And so to me, circus is an analogy for life, and you just keep taking the next step.
What's it been like for you personally, just with dealing with the young people and everything you just talked about?
It's been challenging, and at one point I actually was talking to the kids, what keeps you motivated? What motivated you before? Now when you're working just in your own living room, what's motivating you? And at that moment, my daughter called me to see what I wanted from the market, because I hardly went anywhere for many months. And they all started shouting out what I should be buying. And then they said, food motivates us. So we created this incredible cookbook. And it's the Circus Harmony Interactive Cookbook. You can find it on our website under shows. But it's an online cookbook of 43 different recipes, delicious recipes from easy to complex, each paired with a video. And one of the things that I did during the pandemic, there's our food, our logo done in food, was I taught my dog Maple a lot of tricks, and she's in some of the recipes. She actually makes coffee. She knows how to work the electric grinder. She brings me the filter, the coffee. So you should look up that recipe.
Do you have a favorite recipe of your own?
Gosh, my favorite recipe that I put in there was my stepfather's Asian shrimp recipe, shrimp and vegetables. But my favorite video, I shouldn't say this, all the kids will get upset, but the coolest video is really the microwave mud cake, because it shows it shows a girl doing contortion inside a microwave.
Speaking of videos, we have a video, set it up for us, and we're going to show it, and you can tell us while we're watching it.
Sure.
But it's of performances, I guess, right?
This is a performance we did at Union Station. It had a train theme. It was for a national organization, and we put together for them, it was a half-hour show, and we also did strolling entertainment. So these are the current generation of St. Louis arches, and they do, of course, partner acrobatics, because one of our sayings is peace through pyramids and harmony through handsprings, joy through juggling. So this is the kind of thing. We can bring one single stilt walker, which now, we did a fundraiser at Steve's Hot Dogs, and so now we have a stilt walking ketchup and stilt walking mustard and hot dogs that do unicycling and all sorts of other acts.
How are those kids always so talented?
They practice.
What kind of practice would you have to, is this like if you're on a football team or a baseball team or something?
No, but this was really interesting. So for over 12 weeks, 15 weeks, months during the pandemic, except for 3 who were brothers, they couldn't work together. And you see how much of that is touching each other. And they couldn't touch each other. And then we put together the 1-hour show we did for the Cardinals in 11 weeks. We put together an individual acrobatic act. You just saw an excerpt of that in 4 weeks. Because while we were going through the pandemic and online, we worked on conditioning, we worked on different skills so that it would be more seamless when we got together. But it was impressive even to me how much they did, and part of it was they were so happy to be back working together. So we still perform masked because our youngest members cannot be vaccinated, and we protect the youngest, and they do a whole show, and they do an amazing, amazing job. We've also started work, this is a slide from that. Well, there's the Union Station one. But we were just funded by PNC Arts Alive for 2 years. We're so thankful. And there's the ketchup and the mustard and a hot dog doing a split. PNC Arts Alive and the Arts and Education Council of St. Louis are the first people to support our newest program, Architecture and Acrobats. Because when we were in quarantine, when we did the balancing act, we found the power of narrative. We've always done amazing shows, but we've never really used narrative. So we found how powerful that is, the balancing act. The kids really talk about some very deep thoughts and feelings. And then we did a partnership with a circus school in Stuttgart, Germany, to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Stuttgart and St. Louis being sister cities. We put a show together online. The kids worked together online, early in the morning for us, late at night for them. And then we did these acts in front of iconic architectural places that related between Stuttgart and St. Louis. So they have a famous TV tower in Stuttgart, and we did the Bissell Water Tower because they looked similar. And so we're combining this power of narrative with these historically significant architectural places and doing shows there free for the people in those neighborhoods that we will also videotape, because now we see we can get an audience of 1,000, whereas in our circus ring we could only get 200, or even more than 1,000 because you keep the videos up. And we're also telling the story of those places. So our first location is Fairground Park. Why are there bear pits in Fairground Park? What about that swimming pool that used to be there, the really big one?
Right.
And we will tell those stories. And Beaumont High School, which is right on the edge.
Jessica, we just got about a minute left, but I know you're kind of doing a first coming up. I think you're having an outside fundraiser. What's going on?
We are. September 19th, we're having our Busker Ball. It will be an outside family-friendly fundraiser at Tillis Park, and you can get tickets on our website. One of the most challenging things as a nonprofit is raising money in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
But this will also be just fun for the whole family, and there'll be circus arts, and you'll be able to learn and watch, and it'll be outside and safe.
And that's Tillis Park. What's the date again?
September 19th.
Well, what's the best way if somebody wants to find out about that, or if they have a young person that's interested in getting involved? How do we find out more about Circus Harmony?
Everything is on circusharmony.org. We also hope people will follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can watch lots of our videos on our YouTube channel.
And how many kids are usually involved in one time?
So we're keeping the classes small at City Museum. We're keeping those classes right now. They're at 8. We might go up to 12. And the thing is, in a year, we usually have thousands of children, and that's gone down.
Jessica, I wish you the best. It's really great to catch up with you and tell all the kids hi, and your 2 sons, who were on the show a long time ago, their names.
So Keaton is in Australia performing with Circuit Contemporary Circus. Kellen, who was on the show with Chauncey, one of our students, is with Flint Creek Circus touring the West Coast.
Great. Good to see you, and we'll look for you under a tent somewhere.
I hope so. Thank you.
Jessica Hentoff and Circus Harmony. I'm Steve Potter. Get out and have some fun. Go see these things. Thanks for watching City Corner. Bye.
Sorry, I can just...